Listen, listen well. Draw closer to the fire. Let the night wind carry my voice into your bones. For stories are not merely told, they are remembered by the spirit, carried by the ancestors, and planted like seeds in the soil of the earth.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share.
There was once a village called Umoji, where the red earth clung to the feet like memory, and the palm trees whispered secrets older than the oldest man. In that village lived a man named Obinna and his wife Adaeze. Now hear this proverb: the eyes that do not see may still understand, but the heart that does not feel is truly blind. Adaeze was blind, or so the village believes. Obinna did not marry Adaeze for love. No, he married her because her father, the late Chief Ezeokeke, had left behind land that stretched beyond the horizon, barns filled with yam, and goats that multiplied like the blessings of the rain. But Adaeze, his only child, had lost her sight when she was still a young girl, after a fever that burned like wildfire through her body. Since then, her world had been darkness. To Obinna, she was not a wife, she was a door to wealth. At first, he pretended. He spoke softly. He held her hand when others were watching. He fed her gently, as though he cared. But the moon sees what the sun cannot, and soon the mask began to fall. Every evening, Obinna would leave the compound and go to drink palm wine with his friend Okeke, a man whose laughter was always too loud and whose eyes carried mischief like a thief carries stolen gold. One night, as the crickets sang and the moon sat high like a silent witness, Obinna leaned close to Okeke and said, "She is useless." He spat, taking a deep drink. "A woman who cannot see is like a pot without a bottom. What use is she?" Okeke laughed, slapping his thigh. "Then why keep her?" Obinna smiled, slow and wicked. "Because of what she owns." They both laughed until the night itself seemed ashamed. Back at home, Adaeze sat quietly. Her hands rested on her lap, her head slightly tilted, as if she were listening to something far beyond the sound of crickets and distant laughter. Because though her eyes were closed to the world, her spirit was not. There's another proverb: the measure you give is the measure you will one day receive. Each time Obinna bought food, he would serve himself the largest portion, the thickest meat, the richest soup, and give Adaeze the smallest piece. "Eat," he would say, dropping it carelessly before her. She would nod gently. "Thank you, my husband." Her voice was calm, too calm, and Obinna hated it. He wanted anger, he wanted complaint, he wanted something he could crush, but Adaeze gave him silence. Now listen carefully, for this is where the spirits begin to move. 1 week before the night of blood and betrayal, Adaeze began to see. It started as a flicker, a shadow within darkness, then shapes, then light, blurry at first, like the memory of a dream, but each day her sight grew stronger, clearer, sharper. She saw the cracked walls of her home. She saw the greed in her husband's eyes. She saw the way he gave her scraps, thinking she knew nothing. She saw everything, but she said nothing, because Adaeze was not just the daughter of a chief, she was the daughter of wisdom. And so she waited. The forest of no return. Beyond Umoji village lay a forest, not an ordinary forest. No, this was Alanwani's forest, the forest of the mother spirit. People said those who entered without purpose did not return. They said the trees that listened. They said the ground remembered. And it was there that Obinna decided Adaeze would die. One afternoon, under the burning sun, Obinna approached Adaeze. "Wife," he said sweetly, "let us go to the forest tomorrow. I wish to gather herbs for your health." Adaeze bowed her head slightly. "As you wish, my husband." Inside, her heart was steady like a drum. She already knew. That night, Obinna dug a pit, deep, wide, enough to swallow a human body. He wiped the sweat from his face and smiled. "Tomorrow," he whispered, "I will be a free man." But the night has ears, and the earth does not forget. The next morning, they walked together. Obinna held Adaeze's hand, guiding her as though he cared. But Adaeze saw every step, every shadow, every lie. The forest welcomed them with silence. No bird sang, no wind moved. Even the trees seemed to be watching. "Careful," Obinna said, leading her closer to the pit. "Step here." Adaeze pretended to stumble. "Ah, my husband, I am afraid." He tightened his grip. "Do not worry, I am here." But his voice trembled, not with fear, with anticipation. They reached the pit, freshly dug, dark, hungry. Obinna positioned her carefully. One more step, he said. Adaeze paused. Then slowly, she opened her eyes, fully, clearly.
And for the first time in weeks, she looked directly at him. Obinna froze, his breath caught in his throat. Adaeze, she smiled. Not the gentle smile he knew, but something deeper, something older. My husband, she said softly. Should I step, or should you? The forest exhaled. The ground shifted. And in that moment, the story changed. Before Obinna could react, Adaeze stepped aside. The earth beneath him cracked slightly, loose from the digging. He lost his balance and fell. His scream echoed through the forest as he dropped into the pit he had prepared for another. Adaeze! Help me! Help me! He cried, his voice shaking. She stood at the edge, looking down at him, seeing him, truly seeing him. You called me useless, she said quietly. You fed me scraps. You laughed at my darkness. She paused, then leaned slightly closer. But you forgot something, Obinna. What? He shouted, desperate. She whispered, even in darkness, I was never blind. Adaeze did not wait for his cries to soften. The forest had already judged him. She turned her back slowly, her wrapper brushing against the dry leaves, her steps steady, her head held high, not as a victim, but as one who had awakened. Behind her, Obinna's voice faded into the depths of the earth he had trusted too much. Adaeze, please, I will change. But some words, once spoken, cannot be gathered again. And some deeds, once done, must be answered. The forest of Alanwanyi does not forget, and it does not forgive easily. Adaeze walked out of the forest alone, but she was not empty. No, she carried something far greater than sight. She carried truth. When she returned to Umuoji, the villagers gathered, whispering like wind through dry leaves. For the woman they believed broken now walked with a presence that silenced even the boldest tongues. And when they asked of her husband, she simply said, the earth has received what was given to it. In time, Adaeze left Umuoji, not in shame, but in freedom. She journeyed to a neighboring village where her story was not known and her past did not define her. There, she met a man named Chidibere, a man whose hands built, not destroyed, whose words healed, not wounded, whose eyes saw not just with sight, but with understanding. He did not see her as a door. He saw her as a home. And Adaeze, who had once lived in darkness, found in him a light that did not blind, but warmed. They married, not for land, not for wealth, but for peace. And in that new life, Adaeze laughed again, freely, deeply, like a river that had finally found its path. They built a home filled with kindness. They shared meals where no one was given the smallest portion. And when the night came and the wind carried stories across the land, Adaeze would sometimes sit quietly, her eyes lifted to the sky, not in sorrow, but in gratitude. For she had learned what many never do, that true sight is not in the eyes, but in the soul. And so, her story was told from village to village, from fire to fire. A story not of blindness, but of awakening. A story of justice. A story of a woman who saw when it mattered most.